Welcome. We are your hosts, Chris and Tammy.
In this podcast, we dive into the mindset for networking strategies and skills you'll need to build a solid foundation to build a global business.
We've built a multi-million-dollar business and have mentored thousands of people around the globe in the last 25 years. The fortune is in the follow-up. The cycle is really critical because it's the trust. And, building network marketing today, it is not like it was even 3 years ago. Things are changing. Things are evolving. The tools that we're using are evolving. And this is where most people drop the ball, is they stop before the follow through. And often, if they would have just continued in providing the information, educating the person, building on the relationship, and these are all the things we're going to touch on, this is exactly the way the difference between the successful networkers and the networkers that might be a bit struggling. That is the missing piece. That's the missing link, the follow-up and the follow-through.
So as we look at the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, how it applies to us in network marketing, for example, 80% of your time is spending your time working on new business, 80%. Now, there's going to be times that are unique where you have driving leaders that are really evolving. So, the percentage might change slightly, but 20% of your time will be on the management stuff. All right. So 80% of your time should be driving new business, whether it's helping one of your team members on a 3-way call, whether, getting on a Zoom session, doing some follow-ups with people, whatever it is that's going to generate business for you or new customers. Same thing, business, anything income generated, 80% of your time must be spent on this. If you want to grow a large organization or any size of an organization where you're going into momentum.
What we have is important, and your voice is more important than ever. That's the reason why we say that your fortune are in the follow-ups. You got to go back to people you spoke to. You got to go back and ask them again, remind them of what it is that we have. And someone may turn around and says, what is this again? Can you give me information again? Can I try the product? And you can actually revive a lot of business that you think is actually old and buried.
Yeah. So 80% of the sales require 5 follow-ups. I want you to write that down. 5 follow-ups after an initial contact. So think about all the times that you've contacted people. Did you do 5+ follow-ups with that one person? If you got a good system in place, it's easier to do this. So you can follow along and put dates beside it. I know that's what I do. But 44% of salespeople give up after one. Imagine. So it's very, very important that we understand a minimum of 5 times. And in the process, as you're building relationship, you're going to find that in that process, people are going to be more and more open with you when you keep that follow-up process.
You do not want to upset people by constantly dropping information that they're not interested in getting. That is a skill, but there's so many ways to follow through. And the one thing that you have to be careful, the disappointment, it's part of the process. And I know we're human beings, and it's disappointing when you felt that someone could do so well, but unfortunately, they chose to go the other way, or they just couldn't see past their limitations. That's the reason why following up is important, because in the following up, you can drip information in a professional manner. If it's a person who comes from a technical background, well, that's what they want. If it's a person who comes in from a financial background, well, that's what they want. So do your homework on the person before you meet the person. Understand what matters to them. And the better you are prepared of understanding that, the better your results will be. But you need to discipline your disappointments because they will come. It's part of the process. What I'm telling you are some of the principles to be able to succeed, it doesn't matter if it's network marketing or any kind of traditional business, because network marketing is a traditional business. We are in sales and we build network and we're promote, right? We motivate, we evolve, we train, we learn. That's what business is all about. But we never stop. We stay the course.
You gotta listen to people to understand their personality type. So you're dealing with different personality types all the time. So learn personality types. So when you're connecting with people, you can easily adapt in the conversation.
So in following up, and that's the point, and keep in mind, and I want to underline the personality types. This is what I meant by learn your prospect, learn to understand your prospect's style, personality. It's very important that you take note when you speak with someone as to what was said, point form, what was communicated, what was said, what you felt was important in the conversation. And from there, when you tell them you're going to follow up with at a certain time, I suggest that you don't call an hour later or a day later with an excuse, because it takes away the credibility of professionalism. You need to be organized.
The money is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, if you have your people duplicating, that's a different story, right? If they're out there duplicating it, but that's part of the money making also, because often in the duplication process, you're going to be brought in to help out with, being a guest speaker on a training call, doing a opportunity presentation with your brand new associate, teaching them how to, that's all part of growing your business.